The following content is for entertainment purposes only. All of the voices in this video and this disclaimer were generated using artificial intelligence and are not actual quotes of the persons depicted. This content is purely satirical and is in no way a political advertisement or contains any political bias. Viewer discretion is advised.
Turn that creepy ass shit off. I need some real music. That's more like it. My fellow Americans, and I guess other people around the world that watch these videos, I have emerged victorious in the election against cackling Kamala and the crooked Democrats. I have risen from the ashes like a phoenix after the rigged 2020 election. And I will once again be your president, making Sleepy Joe here, the only president that will not be a two-term president. He was too much of a bitch to face me in the rematch, and I smacked around the champion he named in his place more than Hillary in 2016. Thank you again to everyone across the country who made this possible, and without further ado, it's time for your president-elect to smack everybody in my path on the way to the power plant.
Only person here to lose an election as well. Will the Secret Service follow your ass around in prison? Or will it just be the white supremacist gang in there that protects you whenever you drop the soap?
Now, Joseph, my dear lame duck president, don't be a sore loser. The Teflon Don made history by winning not just the popular vote, but also taking every single swing state. I appreciate you not lending Kamala all the trucks you used to deliver illegal votes this time around.
The gas prices were too high. There was no room in the campaign budget, but you're calling me a sore loser? I'm pretty sure you're the guy that orchestrated a literal fucking insurrection on the Capitol building while you hid in the bunker, probably clutching old Betsy in fetal position.
All right, before you guys both keel over from a heart attack fighting for the next 20 minutes, how about we just call it right there and focus on today's episode? Donald, I am happy to reach across the aisle and congratulate you on your victory and welcome you to the two-term club.
Don't think you're safe from this reckoning, Obama. I didn't forget that you were out there on the campaign trail doing all you could so Kamala would win. You made so many speeches, I reckon this should count as a loss on your record, and we both should be 2-1.
Do you actually think for even a second that you could beat me in a presidential election? That's the most hilarious fucking thing I've ever heard. I implore you to repeal the 22nd Amendment so I can absolutely curb stomp you in 2028.
Maybe I will do just that, Barack. I need to beat the allegations that I'm not an equal opportunity candidate, and that these hands can smack a man around in an election as well.
I'm surprised you came to today's episode and that you aren't still crying that Arnold is in the PC. Did Dark Maga promise you an extra Happy Meal if you played today? Or was Melania just tired of you blasting the YMCA song on repeat in the house all day?
That's a fucking war crime and a violation of the peace treaty negotiated by Dark Brandon and Dark Maga after they nearly destroyed the very fabric of reality. You know there was supposed to be no mention of Arnold today, you Michael Lover.
Despite the fact he's rubbing this win in your faces more than Squidward when he thought SpongeBob and Patrick were stupid for doing nothing in the kelp forest, I do have to agree with Donald here, Barack. That peace treaty, while mainly centered that those two wouldn't fight again and create another shadow game that was moments away from destroying the entire universe, did include a clause that said we would not mention Arnold if Donald rejoined the team. We do have to honor that.
I knew we should have hired the attorney that got OJ off to do our negotiating for the treaty. We got the shit end of the deal on that one.
Joe, for the last time, Johnny Cochran died in 2005. There is no chance we would have been able to hire him. The treaty isn't all that bad. It did include that Donald doesn't get any money from the donations last episode.
I wasn't talking about the glove guy. I was talking about Ross from Friends. He was a member of the Dream Team in that trial. If we had him, we would have intimidated everyone at that table with his height and a studio audience laugh track that made people think that horrible show was actually funny.
And also, again, Ross from Friends is not a real person and was not on O.J. Simpson's defense team. He's an actor named David Schwimmer, and he portrayed Robert Kardashian in that miniseries you wouldn't shut up about for months after it aired.
Obama, you silly man, that wasn't a mini-series. They just abbreviated that almost year-long trial into 10 episodes. I can't believe we were so lucky that camera crews were following around everybody important in that trial and that it was abbreviated into about 10 hours.
You truly are a special one, Joe Biden, but what's done is done and the treaty was signed. Let's just be happy our group wasn't fractured after 28 episodes and we're going to see this series through to the end. How about we change topic and ask our comment question this week?
That's a great idea. Everybody below comment whether you think OJ was guilty or innocent.
Absolutely fucking not that. Our actual comment question this episode is something I've had in mind that puts an end to election season with a fun twist. Everybody below let us know who would win an election between Dark Brandon and Dark Maga based on what you've seen in this series.
My question was definitely better, but I suppose me winning a second election in the course of 2 weeks isn't bad either. In fact, I'll even tally up the votes. If I can't beat Biden because he was a coward, I'll beat Dark Brandon, which is probably even better.
But if you won, doesn't that mean you would lose as well, seeing half of Dark Brandon's life force is in you, and by that logic, Dark MAGA is literally a part of Brandon?
How the fuck do you go from reasonable comebacks to thinking Ross's character from Friends was a real person on OJ's defense team to actually saying the smartest thing you've probably ever said on this channel?
Sometimes when I get out of bed in the morning, I get my hands stuck in the bars of my crib.
You continue to rewrite the rules of science and medicine every waking moment, Joe. I'd say never change, but now that I'm president, I have to keep my promise of supporting the American people, which means I hope you do better, I guess.
The first almost 6 minutes of today's session has me praying I catch his dementia like a regular cold, so I can forget all the nonsense that happens when we get together and play this game.
Don't lie, Barack. You know you love filming these episodes and can't wait until we not only complete this challenge, but also start filming our grand masterpiece of Pokemon Ruby in Season 3. It's going to be our best series yet, and you wouldn't miss it for the world.
Yeah. Wholesomeness and other stuff. But Donald, I feel like I should ask you, since you never actually said your full plan for the episode. Do you plan on fighting Misty today, or are you just going to complete the power plant quest?
Oh yeah, that's right. I never actually did an introduction this episode. Sorry about that. I got distracted with all of my winning, and after that I had to respond to all your bullshit. The 6:30 mark of the video isn't too late to do an intro, right? Nah, fuck it, it's pretty normal for us. Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 30 of Presidents Play Pokemon Crystal Randomizer Nuzlocke. Today, our 45th, 47th President-elect Teflon Don Long John Trump will be, well, actually have already taken us through Rock Tunnel and will be restoring power to the great people of Kanto before handing it off to Bush next episode so he can defeat Misty and earn her 13th badge. And as we can see, my encounter game is absolutely on point today, getting a Seadra in Rock Tunnel thanks to Dupe's Claws and now this absolute beefcake. You guys truly are lucky to have me back. I think you might have even fumbled today without me.
Odd choice of words describing Machamp, but regardless, why on earth are you passing up the opportunity to get a badge? That isn't like you at all. Do you have some ulterior motive you're not telling us about, or are you just afraid to battle Misty?
You know I wasn't going to elaborate if nobody asked, but since you did, I'm going to expose my genius plan to all of you. I was absolutely devastated when Bush decided to battle Janine, derailing my plan last month. But when I learned I would play in Obama's place today, I devised my best plan yet. You see, by passing up Misty today, I can have Bush battle her next episode, Biden can battle Brock on his turn, and I can battle both Blaine and Blue 3 weeks from now on my normal turn and get our last 2 badges. I should run out on the team more often. This couldn't have gone better for me.
You're still thinking about that decision I made? Bro, that feels like an eternity ago at this point. You still would have got to battle a gym leader either way this episode, so why did you put this much planning into it?
You're just mad I'm playing 4D chess and you're shoving checkers up your ass. Guys, I wasn't going to say it, but let's face the facts. I'm the new best trainer here. Not a single Pokemon has fainted under my watch this season, aside from when I filled in for Bush after he walked out of the radio tower. And since we agreed that's another Pokemon on his death tally under the circumstances, that makes me more perfect than the most brilliant crystal in this series. They should rename this game Pokemon Trump in recognition of my achievements. And since I'm the best, I should battle the toughest 2 gym leaders that have higher level teams than us. I won't even grind levels to be equal to them. I'm just that fucking good, boys.
Can you not be a dick for like 3 minutes and make sure none of our Pokemon faint against this encounter? Its attack stat is pretty decent, and if that Thrash ends up being a critical hit, all your bragging would be all for not in hysterical yet devastating fashion.
I bet he's totally not planning on, quote, accidentally losing one of our team members today so that Arnold can rejoin the team. It's a trap, I tell you guys.
Relax, Sherlock. I would never let one of our team members fade, hurting our chances of completing this challenge, and I absolutely plan on finishing this season with no Pokemon under my fainted counter. I will keep our team intact as we secure our ticket to enter Mount Silver.
Let's just say you fucking better after all this big talk, Donald. I swear, if even a single team member faints on your next turn, I'll make you regret talking about us like we're chopped liver compared to you.
You can keep dreaming, George. I'm the very best like no one ever was. All I do is add to our team member pool and never remove from it. And now that we've caught this titan of strength, I'm going to name him Bautista. Not only is he one of my favorite wrestlers ever, but he's become a fantastic actor.
You're not wrong about that. Did any of you see his newest movie, The Killer's Game? He's everything that The Rock wishes he could be on screen. He can play any role and doesn't just have a movie career because he was a famous wrestler. I bet that new Red One movie is going to be absolute trash.
Now that's definitely a bipartisan agreement. Bautista is a fantastic actor. I still can't believe there are people that didn't see arguably his best movie, Knock at the Cabin, last year. Our editor sees a movie every weekend, and recognized it as an easy top 5 movie of 2023.
I'm surprised he has good taste. Hey, editor, can you give us that entire list? There were a lot of bangers last year, so I want to know what you rank the other blockbusters of 2023.
Tell you what, I'll hit you with a full top 10, seeing that you're right, last year there were a ton of bangers. Number 10, Thanksgiving. Number 9, Equalizer 3. Number 8, Barbie. Number 7, Megan. Number 6, Dumb Money. Number 5, the Super Mario Brothers movie. Number 4, Knock at the Cabin. Number 3, Killers of the Flower Moon. Number 2, Napoleon. And number 1, Oppenheimer. Honorable mentions to the Dungeons & Dragons movie, Gran Turismo, Ferrari, Creed 3, and The Hunger Games.
That's nice, but I only remember George asking for a top 5, and you just rattled off a top 10 plus 5 honorable mentions. Can somebody please get rid of that new microphone he got? Bro is going to start thinking he's a main character with all his appearances in this series.
He actually takes the time to edit all these videos every week, and who isn't starstruck when they're in the same room as Joe Biden? I, for one, liked his list, despite leaving out the 5 Nights at Freddy's movie and the Taylor Swift Eras Tour movie.
Joe, I'm pretty sure nobody is starstruck when you're in the room, and also the Taylor Swift movie wasn't even an actual movie. It was literally just a concert, but on the big screen for people that either couldn't get into one of her shows or just can't get enough of her.
Don't you dare besmirch Tay-Tay. She is the voice of a generation, and that movie was cinematic gold. Me and the rest of that packed theater gave it a standing ovation with tears flowing down our eyes the second it ended.
So let me get this straight. We're not allowed to sing Flowers on repeat in the presidential limo, but you're allowed to sing Taylor Swift songs. That's so unfair.
Excuse me for trying to put some culture in your life. And don't ever question my DJ choices again, Joe. I gave you that Presidential Medal of Freedom, and I swear I'll take it away from you.
Oh, don't let him scare you, Joe. You can't take away those medals. Trust me, I've tried to take them away from people, but was never successful. We can always take 2 cars, so we can blast whatever song we want over the radio while cruising down the streets of D.C.
I don't know, man. He's really good at government. If there's a way, Obama's going to know how. I'm just going to stay in my lane and never mention this ever again. You don't have one of those medals, so I understand if you want to take the risk. It's just so damn shiny.
Maybe you can hook a brother up with one of those medals, Joe, for my incredible performance today after catching all 3 of my encounters. Another high-level option in case things go worse than an 8th gym in a Pokemon Sapphire playthrough. But getting back to our game, I'm going to name this guy Swiffer, because every time I see a pile of swine, I'm pretty sure every rational person on this planet just thinks of a mop.
You're not wrong about that, Donald. I think the anime definitely should have given more attention to our boy after he was revealed to be such a giga-chad doing what he did for Price. But speaking of getting back to our game, I'm going to dive into donations. This might have been our best week for donations ever, as we got 9 of them. And we as a group cannot begin to thank you enough for how generous and amazing the members of this community are. We wouldn't be here without you. The first one came from the guy who always seems to donate first every week, and it was Legendary Gamer. He sends us his usual 7 Canadian people money, and he answered our comment question by saying his favorite restaurant was a local place called Java Hut. Thanks for the well wishes, my friend.
That sounds like a nice, cozy place that I would have to try out if I ever encountered it. At first, I thought you said Jabba the Hutt, though, since I have been around Donald so much today.
Shut up, bitch.
But jokes aside, our next donation comes from another weekly donator, being some Welch Guy 5388. He has a somewhat concerning note to us regarding demons having him try and join another cult. I guess it's not too far out of the ordinary to assume that Brawl did have some effects like you're referencing, but I hope for your sake, it was just a bad dream. Thanks again for the British people money.
Yeah, what he said. It was just a bad fucking dream. Keep your mouth shut and sip some tea, you fake British person.
Hey, what the fuck? When did Dark Brandon get here?
What are you talking about, Donald? Dark Brandon isn't here right now. It's still me. Are you all right, bro? Seeing things is one of the early signs of dementia, you know?
Wait, what? Shit, I guess I was just hearing things like some Welch guy. Anyway, I'm just going to pretend that never happened and get to our next donation from one of my favorite villains of all time, being Lex Luthor 5398. He sends us 15 real people money, and we couldn't be happier you discovered this channel as well. I hope you enjoyed your binge watches of Yellow and Crystal to this point, and we hope to see you in this segment again.
Yeah, it's finally my turn. And I get to read Mavis Songbird's donation. It's a big one for $20, and I'm just going to ignore the part where you say this is for Donald alone. But I will say Arnold is the first replacement, God forbid something goes wrong. Thank you again for another donation.
We ain't ignoring shit. I already swiped a $20 bill out of this desk earlier since it's going to be mine again in 2 months, so we could just call it even at this point. And since you tried to ignore me, I'm taking the next donation as well, while I have to battle a shitty replica of our best girl mystery. It hurts me so bad to have to cause what looks to be mystery to faint, but I know at the end of the day I'll never let that happen to the real one. And without further ado, donation number 5 from the past episode came from Ginger Jack 714. It's for 5 true Patriot dollars, and he sympathizes with Obama for being afraid of our wives. He answered our question as well with Devaney's, which is a pizza chain out in Minnesota. Now, I can't speak for that place, and I know Tweaking Timmy can't answer that either. Seeing him and Kamala are hiding in the same forest that Hillary is probably still hiding in, but I think I know someone who can. Hold up, let me make a quick phone call.
How many times do I have to change my fucking phone number? Can you get the fucking hint and stop bothering me, Trump?
You seriously did not call the second most sus creator on the platform, did you, Trump?
The fuck did you just say about me, you fentanyl addict? And who are you to talk about sus creators? Your editor literally fucks Vaporeons.
Okay, listen to me. Those are just rumors, and I really don't like it when people...
Shut up, Broadway. Literally nobody is talking to you. Jesus Christ, I get it. You finally have a microphone that isn't dog shit anymore, but that doesn't mean you have to use it at all times. But seriously, I'm in the middle of a situation right now because the Biden in my universe went as Banjo for Halloween and the Oval Office is in shambles. Just ask me what you need to ask me, Donald, so I can go and you don't call me back 12,000 times like usual.
Oh, I'm doing great as well, buddy. Thanks for asking. I was just calling to get your opinion on a pizza chain called Devaney's in your neck of the woods. Have you ever tried it, and is it any good?
If that's really all you called to ask me, I've heard of it, but I've never gone to it. I usually go to places within 20 minutes of driving, so that is just beyond my reach. It's on my list of places to try, and I've heard good things. Looking on their site, the pizza looks like it's straight up Papa Murphy's, and that's the best, so their pizza is probably popping. Can I go now?
Yeah, that's all, my man. It seems like you're busy, so have a great rest of your day, and maybe we can play Power World again sometime. You know I could always use a buddy to catch those legendaries in the desert.
F you, nephew. Go do what was suggested at the 113 mark and stop calling me. Oh, for fuck's sake, Bush, get your hands off my fucking Jack's Pizza.
What does he mean, the 113 mark?
Oh, probably something endearing. He's a great guy with fantastic videos. Definitely check him out if you haven't already.
Sure, Donald, but anyway, back to the donations. Next up, we have the Poisonous Turtle, who sent us $5 via Ko-fi. Thank you, as always, to everyone who donated through there, as we don't get hit with a fee like with donations on YouTube. But going back to Turtle's donation, I definitely have 5 fingers, my man. Just a bad camera angle, I guess. And you can never go wrong with some chilies, cheap drinks, and some damn good food. That's a wild story about your local store, but I wouldn't stop going for that reason either.
Oh, damn it, I completely forgot about this illegal immigrant Team Rocket member. Was he one of your leftover voters, Biden? No matter, I'm going to deport him in January just the same. Get the hell out of this gym and the great region of Cantor, you bastard.
It feels like we have to mention this most episodes, but you do realize that he's not actually a real person, and just because he doesn't speak fluent English doesn't mean he can't actually be from this country.
I'm pretty sure he actually says he's from another country when you speak to him again, but before Donald gets us demonetized with his deportation rambling, I'm going to get back to the donations where we still have a few more of them. Our next one comes from our good buddy Ram 420M, and he sends us $10 alongside a half-base take. I definitely could take out Dark Brandon in my Ultra Instinct form, now that he only has half his strength, but I'm sure George will absolutely love your Texas Roadhouse pick. Thanks again, my man.
Hell yeah, you know I love that pick. Texas Roadhouse rolls alongside a porterhouse is the best dinner you can possibly have. I'd go there every day of the week if Laura didn't stop me from doing so.
She's probably right about stopping you, George, because you look like Donald if you actually went there every day. But moving on to our next donation, it came from the Jedi Muffin again, on the Ko-fi side. Jedi sends us $10 and has an interesting question about Pokemon typing. If I had to pick a Pokemon that had the wrong type, I would definitely go with Druddigon. Even today, when I look at that Pokemon, I think it's a rock type.
First off, fuck you for the fat joke. I already had to endure Obama's shitty attempt at a dig, and now this? It's just pure hatred on the next president. Disgraceful if I say so myself. But I have to pick our old pal Drone. I think Fire and Psychic would have been an awesome combination. Oh, by the way, hold up whoever was going next. This is one of the funniest parts of Crystal.
Womp womp. Sorry your gang didn't tell you they don't exist anymore.
It really is perfect how the music stops and his entire mood just goes to absolute shit. I guess he'll be heading back to his home country. You have nothing to worry about, Donald.
Oh, well, there'll be plenty more. But all I'm going to do for the rest of this session is get the machine part, bring it back to the power plant, and then get the radio card so that we can progress to Pewter City after beating Misty next week.
Sounds like a plan to me, Donald. If your plan is what actually happens, then this would be my final full episode before we reach Mount Silver. I can't believe we're really coming up to the end of this series, only a few more episodes to go. I might actually cry here, boys.
Don't you start crying, because then Biden is going to break out the waterworks as well. Save your tears for the finale in about a month's time. I'll change the subject so it doesn't happen and move on to our final and highest donation of the week. If you're a fan of the channel, you'll know this name in a heartbeat, because the highest donator in our history just extended his lead with another $100 donation. It's the one and only Neo Venom Strike, and we're trying our absolute best to make this Kanto speed run as enjoyable as possible. We know sometimes it might not be the most exciting seeing we're completely overleveled against most trainers, but Blaine, Blue, and Red are not going to be the case. We'll have to go all out in those battles. From all of us here at the channel, thank you so much for another massive donation, and to everyone else who contributed to the highest amount of donations in our channel's history these past 2 weeks. We appreciate you all so much and cannot begin to thank you enough.
We really do enjoy taking time out of every episode to go through all the donations and thanking you one by one, because not only do we feel it's the least we can do, but at the same time we love interacting with the people that make these videos possible.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Joe. Glad your old dementia brain has some good moments like that every now and then. But before we get to the farewells, I do want to ask you guys as we gear up for Mount Silver, do you think we need to level up the team to maybe late 55 before we get to Blue? His weakest team member is 54 and he has 3 level 58s. Right now we are pretty damn underleveled for that, and we could be in for a bad time if we go in around where we are now.
You do make a good point, Barack. I also have no idea what the randomizer will do since Blue didn't have a type-based gym. Will it mean that he could have any 6 Pokemon regardless of typing, or will the game give him a type because he's a gym leader? Same question for Red, I suppose.
Well, shit, I never actually thought about that, and I don't think there was a spot in the randomizer that detailed those scenarios. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see with that. But I think this just adds to the argument. We have to be more prepared for these last few battles.
Well, if you want to power level the team about 10 levels, then be my guest. But if I remember correctly last time, we smacked the shit out of Blue's team in our yellow run, vastly underleveled, and I know we have the team to do it again in Crystal. Have some goddamn faith in our unit.
I'm with Donald on this one. I might not trust him to run the country for 4 more years, but if there's anything he's proved on this channel, it's that he's a damn good trainer. If Donald says he won't lose anybody and to believe in our team, then I say let him go for it.
Thanks, Joe. I really do appreciate that. And by 2028, I'll make a believer out of you in terms of me being the greatest president ever as well. I'll tell you what, Barack and George, if I lose even a single Pokemon against Blue or Blaine, I'll power level our team into the 70s for Red.
You doing our biggest power level we'll ever have to do on this channel? Fuck it. Say less. You got a deal, Donald? Let's see how good you really are with your perfect record during this run on the line.
I'll be starting and ending this run with the same amount of team members lost. Don't you doubt that for a second, Obama. But with getting the radio card so we can wake up the Taft blocking Diglett's cave, that's going to wrap things up for episode 30, everybody. We're getting into the home stretch now, so don't miss Bush's last full turn next week as he battles Misty for our 13th badge. We can't wait to see you then.
As always, a shout out to our channel members over on the Ko-fi side, and it's still just our boy Hector. Thanks again, Hector, and if you ever want to join him on getting a shout out at the end of every episode, you can do so by making a monthly pledge via the link in the description of this video.
Another link in the description of this video is to join our Discord AI Force 1, which at the time of filming is now only 55 members away from 1,000. Make sure to join as we continue to chase our goal of hitting 4-digit members before Crystal concludes.
And last but not least, please don't forget to answer our comment question below. Don't cry because it's Joe Ver. Be happy that it happened. We'll see you next week.